Before you say anything to me, yes, I know that this is the most absurd amount of books to have read in a month, but I just couldn't help it in September. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 are novellas, and 22 is not out yet, so I don't have a physical copy of it, but wow. Oh wow. Let's try this one really quick. In the month of September, I read and listened to 22 books. Holy smokes, over 7,000 pages, the most I've absolutely ever read in an entire month. Let it be known, 2 were novellas, which are basically shorter novels, and 10 of these were audiobooks. So physically, I only read 10, and only sounds like, okay, that's still insane, but definitely way less than 22. I'm gonna do a rapid fire. I listen to audiobooks doing anything and everything. Doing the dishes, doing the laundry, folding the laundry, driving, making dinner, making sweet treats, grocery shopping, anything like that. Like, I have an audiobook on. It is absolutely unbelievable. And I listen to audiobooks at 2x speed, but my brain just works really fast. Anyway, enough justification. Here is the pile of all the books we need to get through today. So we gotta do this reading wrap up quick today. If you guys are new here, hi, I'm Gracie. I do travel, lifestyle, Disney, and books. I would love if you guys subscribed down below, and to stay more up to date with what I'm reading on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you can add me on Goodreads. Honestly, this is selfish because I'd love to see what you guys are reading. Without further ado, we've got 22 books to get through. I'm going to continue with my little trend of doing this in a yes, no, maybe style. I did not do this video in August because I was out and about and really busy traveling, but I did want to do it for September, even though I've got 9 million books to get through. So I'm going to give you a yes, no, or maybe, and a slight reason why I may have given it that. By the way, this video is spoiler free. I'm not even really gonna give you the back of the book. I'm just gonna give you a little blurb of whether or not I liked it, because I have decided I like going into books blind. I like seeing a cute cover or hearing, oh, that's a good book, and deciding to pick it up. So that's what I'm gonna do for this video. If you don't like that format, if you do want to know more about it, let me know in the video. Figure this way, because you can always Google something if you do want to know, but for those of us who like to go into it blind but are just hearing like, yes, you should read this book, oh, swoony romance, and you kind of get that little tidbit, I don't know. You let me know, but that's how this video is gonna go. But I'm putting this in the beginning so that you know, in case now, if you want to click out, if you don't want to waste your time just hearing yes, no, and a little blur. But I do think truly this is the best way to go into books, and obviously these are all my personal opinions. We can agree to disagree on whether or not we liked books, didn't like books. These are my opinions on what I read. So now let's get into it. First off, we're gonna start with the book I cannot seem to shut up about literally anywhere on any of my other social media platforms. I've talked about it several times, and that is Julie Olivia's If It Makes You Happy. This is the quintessential fall romance of my dreams. Small town, cozy, Gilmore Girl vibes to the max. I love Cliff and Michelle. I ended up giving this romance a 5-star rating. Just crazy, because usually I don't for just regular romance books, but something about this, like, I am obsessed. Absolutely obsessed. So obsessed that I'm actually waiting on a signed copy by Julie Olivia that I pre-ordered through a local bookstore. So that just tells you I'm obsessed. This is a yes from me, obviously, and one of the best books I read this past month. This is a young adult or YA or something you may have read in middle school series that I started this month. I don't know why it like popped up on my books. Listened to all 3 of these as an audiobook and loved the series. This is the Selection series, so I figured I would do all 3 of these together. So we have the Selection, the Elite, and the One. And I know that there are 2 more, like the Crown and the Heir, but based on the description of the next book, the Heir, I believe is the next one, that was kind of it for me. Like, I felt like the series kind of jump started. I think it goes forward in time a lot, so I felt like these 3 were good enough for me because I gave the Selection a yes. I gave the Elite a yes, but I'm gonna give the One a maybe, or like a yes to a maybe, because I feel like I don't need to listen to the next one. I kind of felt like it was a little too dragged out, and this could have been done in 2 books and they could have figured it out. But this was a fun series to read, and it's something I know that a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I was obsessed with that middle school. I was like, well, I didn't read this in middle school, so what was the hype? I do really like a Regency type book, even though I don't really read those very often, but it's kind of like dystopian Regency to the point of like, obviously a prince is looking for his next princess. There's a lot of things going on wrong with the caste system and everything like that. So overall, I thought these were a good read. Nothing groundbreaking, but I did enjoy listening to them on audiobook. I guess while we're on that topic, because I didn't touch base with you guys after the end of August, you wouldn't know that I started the Shatter Me series as well. I read a couple of them and listened to a couple of them, so I've got 3 here. books 2, 3, and 4. So I read book 1 and one of the novellas that go along with the story, the accompanying novella, last month. And then I did 2, 3, and 4 and the accompanying novellas, I think, to 2 and 4. I don't think 3 had one. But essentially, I am done with this book. I thought by book 4, I was absolutely like, get me out of here. I do not need to finish this. I don't need to listen to it. Another dystopian society young adult book. But I did enjoy Unravel Me, so I'm gonna give this a yes. Ignite Me is sort of where the maybe/yes comes in. And Restore Me, I'm at the point where I'm like, no. And then Ignite Me and Fracture Me, I don't really think you need to read. Fracture Me especially, no, not worth your time. There's just some things that aren't worth your time. Even though I listened to, I believe, these 2 on audiobook, where like, to me, that's not like taking time out of my day to sit down and read something. It's kind of like while I'm doing something else. I still felt like, okay, that's enough for me. That's enough listening for me. Again, another dystopian YA, nothing groundbreaking, nothing new, but it is something that I listen to, so we gotta talk about it. But I would say overall, with these 2 series, if you've never read them, I wouldn't say go rush to read them. If you're not a super avid reader like me, where I can get through 22 books and go, 6 of them were like whatever, or 8 of them were whatever. But if you're just gonna be picking up a couple of books this year, I'd say it's probably not necessary to read these. Now, one that I think is necessary if you like actually quite a spicy romance is Picture Perfect by Tessa Bailey. This is in the Big Shot series, where there's Fangirl Down, there's Dream Girl Drama, and there's the Au Pair Affair, I believe, are the 3 that are in the series. And this is the next one. I didn't really know what to expect because I didn't exactly care about Robbie Corrigan, but after like the first 30 pages, I'm like, yep, this is the best book in the series, in the Big Shot series. They are standalone romances that are interconnected, so you don't have to read all of the other ones in the series, but obviously to get to know some of the characters that are mentioned in this book, you can read the other ones. But I thought that this was just a swoony little romance, and like I said, my favorite one. Plus, cannot get over the sprayed edges on this book. So my favorite of Tessa Bailey's maybe ever. So I'm excited to see the next book in the Big Shot series. I think it comes out next year, but this is a yes. If it hasn't already been established, I was a bit of a weird or weirder middle school child, whatever you want to say. I was always interested in the strange things. I had guinea pigs. I loved watching the Breaking Amish show, and another show that I'm like, how did my parents even let me watch that at like 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, was Sister Wives. And I was so enthralled by the concept that a man actually had multiple wives, and this was a real thing, and this was in the US, and it's a reality TV show. And I just like couldn't believe it as a kid. I've never ever heard of anything like that. So I was interested in these people, and I did have a favorite sister wife. And Christine, who was my favorite sister wife, actually came out with a memoir. I was shocked. I listened to this as an audiobook, and I of course love that she narrates it. Whoa, what was going on behind the scenes in her marriage during the filming, with the kids, with the houses, with I didn't even realize that having multiple wives was against the law in Utah, and just some crazy stuff. So if you ever watched the show Sister Wives, this may interest you, which is why I think it is a yes. If you've never seen Sister Wives, like, this isn't the memoir for you. This is not what you're gonna want to pick up unless you're interested and you learn a little bit more about, oh wait, are there pictures? I haven't looked at the physical copy of this book, but I was like, this has to go on my shelf because I loved it. Oh my gosh, wait, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to look through these. But if you watch Sister Wives, this would be a yes. And if you did not watch Sister Wives, you may be like, what on earth are you talking about? So I don't want to take any of the slander. It's just a yes for me, but it may just be a maybe for you, depending on whether or not you're like, I've never seen this lady ever in my life. Then probably skip it. But I really enjoyed it. It was so insightful. This is it, my first no of the day, and actually quite possibly my only no of the day. And I honestly, I just felt like this book was a waste of my time. I know that I might get some slander for this, but A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. I already didn't really love the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches that I read last year. And I just decided, I'm like, this looks so cozy and cute, and the back sounds so cozy and cute. And it wasn't for me. I dragged my feet through this book. I just didn't love it. I don't really know how to give anything other than that. So I've been seeing this one for the fall season. I definitely think there are some better fall books, but up to you on if you would like to read this, but this one was not for me. it's a no. The Gingerbread Bakery. Every time I read one of Lori Gilmore's books, especially these like the Dream Harbor series, I think this is maybe book 5 at this point. I've read all of them. They never really do it for me, but I feel like I get a little something. They're never groundbreaking, but they get you into the spirit. I think I read this one a little early because it's more Christmassy than the rest, and I'm trying to get into fall books, but it did just come out, which is why I wanted to read it. I'm always like, oh, give me the new books that came out this month so I can let you guys know. Definitely think that you could read this for Christmas. Again, a standalone but interconnected romance small town series called Dream Harbor. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe is a spicy book. All of them are actually way spicier than they look on the cover, but I'd say that's a great fall read, where this one's more of a Christmas read with the Gingerbread Bakery. I liked it. Like I said, nothing groundbreaking. Usually, or maybe it's almost always at this point, just a 3-star. Like, it just kind of gets you into the mood and nothing other than that. It's just like not groundbreaking, nothing crazy, but always just a good book. So I enjoyed it. It was cute. This is The Dragon Wakes with Thunder, which is the second book in a series to a book that I loved so much last year, called The Night That Ends with Fire. And this is book 2, highly anticipated. I didn't do a reread of The Night That Ends with Fire, but I did remind myself, like go online and Google and reminded myself how the book ended, where it was, all of that. And I will say, I have the other one. I love these on my bookshelf with the sprayed edges, just absolutely amazing. I felt a little let down by this book. Another one that took me so long to get through. Also, wrong time, wrong place. I was sitting on a beach reading this book. I believe that your environment is like half of the enjoyability of a book. And I knew I wasn't really in the right spot to read it, but I wanted to read it so bad because I have been waiting literally since the day I finished the last book. And I was like, I have to wait another year and a couple months. Oh, so annoyed. But I gave this one 3 stars. I think I gave The Night That Ends with Fire 5, 4, 4.5. I don't know, something high. And again, super highly anticipated for me personally. It's like a Chinese fantasy, and I know again that's not everybody's thing. Like, I'm weird. I love Asian culture. I've always had since I was a little girl. Like, to me, Chinese folk stories, tradition, I love it. So yeah, definitely disappointed by this book. 3 stars. Read the first one, and then if you want to continue, I don't know if I would have liked it reading them back to back, and maybe someday I will do myself justice and I will read them back to back and see if it was me and my reading circumstances or the book itself. But like I said, not really my favorite, so it's maybe. A quick and easy audiobook listen, Parents Weekend by Alex Finlay. Actually, I didn't know where this was going. I really didn't. But then when I found out at the end what happened to these college students, I was kind of like, like, not to spoil the book, but I was like, I didn't see it coming. But then when I found out like the whodunit, I was like, oh, really? So overall, this book felt like it could have been an email, to be truthful. So bleh and maybe. The Eights by Joanna Miller, another one set for college students, but in the 1920s and at Oxford. So a little bit of a different college experience than a college out in California in the last book. But I did enjoy this book, the camaraderie of women and obviously the hardships that women faced in the early 1920s. But I would say this is another maybe for me. I felt like this book was a little confusing at times, switching between all of the characters. I really had to pay attention listening to the audiobook and what was going on. And again, sometimes it's the format that you read, so maybe reading it was better than listening, but I definitely thought it wasn't as passive as a listen as I like to do. I like to usually do a book where I can be doing anything, paying attention, but not locked in. This book, I felt like I really had to be locked in because there were a lot of dates, there were a lot of different perspective changes, like to different characters, so I felt like I really had to be paying attention to like, wait, who's speaking right now? Which roommate is this? So it's a maybe. It's maybe. Like, when you read this many books, there are just some that I'm like, oh, so much better. This just was okay for me. The Heartbreak Hotel, Ellen O. Clover. This is one of the books I almost picked for my book of the month this month, and I didn't. And then I was having such FOMO that I just read it not as a book of the month because I already picked 2 book of the months this past month. And I thought that this was cute, sweet, a little steamy, a little spicy. I knew exactly where it was going the whole time, but like a cheesy romance that you'd love to read, and just envisioning the house and what it looked like based on all of the characteristics. I thought that the Heartbreak Hotel was cute. I thought it was a little unbelievable in the beginning after the breakup and how the whole situation happens with this Heartbreak Hotel, but I did think this was such an interesting concept. It was something totally different, yet a cheesy romance book, but I just had never read a romance book like it, so I really enjoyed it. Speaking of my book of the month pick, I've not gotten around to Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, which I know is just going to rock my world because I love her books and I have just not been in that headspace quite yet. But this book of the month one I did, which was Alchemy of Secrets. Perfect to read in October because it's set around Halloween. Love the sprayed edges if you got the book of the month copy. This is my first Stephanie Garber. I have not read Caraval. I've not read, I forget the other name of the series that she writes that everybody talks so highly about. This is my first, Alchemy of Secrets, and the magical realism was awesome. I truly enjoyed it. I flew through this book. I could not put it down. Something about, of course, how she ends every chapter. I'm like, well, I have to read the next one and know what's going on. And I was just so satisfied with how this book turned out, and I really enjoyed this. So if you've never read Stephanie Garber, like, I just felt really sucked into her entire world and all of her characters and everything that was going on in this book. So I truly enjoyed this and flew through this one. I listened to the audiobook for Memoirs of a Geisha, and honestly, it wasn't until the very end when I found out that this is actually not based on one singular person. But wow, I didn't even know what a geisha was, but when Goodreads has this well over 4 stars with over 2 million reviews, you know it has to be good. Like, you know that it can't be bad. And I will say, wow, I listened to this on audiobook. It was like an 18-hour audiobook. That text is tiny. But the goings on in this book and how Japan was and in Kyoto back in the day, I just like jaw on the ground what these women were doing, how they were treated, how they ended up in life. I don't really know how to explain it other than wow. And I thought that the audiobook narrator was amazing. She had me hooked from really truly the first 2 chapters. I was like, yeah, this is going to be such a great book, and it's a perspective shifter for sure. A romance book that had me swooning, and I hate to say it, but this book is not coming out until the end of February. My jaw was on the ground when I got the email that I got an advanced reader copy for BK Borison, which, first of all, read all of her books thus far, and I just think that she's an awesome writer. Her second book in the Heartstrings series, And Now Back to You. And if you read First Time Caller, this goes along with that book. That's the Heartstrings series, and I was giggling. I loved this book so much better than I loved First Time Caller. First Time Caller, I think, might be, and I hate to say it, but one of my least favorite BK Borison books. And this, And Now Back to You, usually I feel like a second book in a series is just never as good as the first, and this one blew it out of the water. I don't know what it was, maybe like forced proximity, one bed, like something about it where it was cold and they were snowed in. Like, I just freaking loved this book. I gave it 4 stars, and I can't wait till it comes out till the end of February. And truly thinking about the timing of when it comes out, end of February, like perfect time also to read this book with the winter vibes and everything that's in it. So I'm still smiling, like my cheeks hurt from how much I truly enjoyed this book, and will be thinking about Delilah and Jackson, and it was good. It was so good. She kills it. Now I know we're leaving summer, and I was just talking about all these wintry fall books, but these summer storms, I listened to this one on audiobook. Another audiobook one's coming up right after this, and then we're getting out of here because we're done. But something about like wealthy people and their struggles and reading them in a book, I was like, oh my gosh, I just like could not get enough of the rich people problems, basically. And I did not realize this book was gonna have some romance in it, so I was pleasantly surprised with the romance. Hopefully that's not a spoiler for you. Apparently the whole world knew and I didn't know, but I thought that this was a great book. I didn't know where it was going from the beginning. I didn't know how it was gonna end up. I kind of figured, but I wasn't positive, and I thought this was a great one. So I don't know if you're still wanting to read summary books. This goes on around Labor Day weekend, so you're kind of still there unless you're like really in fall mode. Other than that, maybe just add it for a next summer book. Maybe this kind of is a beach read or a beach listen. Kind of have to be in that summer state of mind to listen to this a little bit, but really good book. And last but certainly not least, is this the only like mystery thriller I listened to, read, whatever this month? Sherry Lapina, She Didn't See It Coming. I didn't see it coming either. What? Okay, just this whole book I was on the edge of my seat for. I think I finished this one pretty quick. And by on the edge of my seat, I mean like holding on to my headphones at all times, listening to this book. I loved the narrator. It dragged on a little, but not too much, to where some of these mystery thrillers are like, come on, time's a ticking, my attention span's going. Like, there's too many other things. That wasn't quite this book. I thought that there were a few parts. Other things were oh my gosh, I just like, there's some things I just can't wrap my head around, and that is what this book is. I think that this one's so good. So if that's what you're looking for going in a spooky season, you didn't see it coming, Sherry Lapina. And those are all of the 22 books I read and listened to in the month of September. It was a crazy, crazy, crazy month of reading, but I was on a couple of long flights. We had beach days in Hawaii. Like, I just feel like I had a little bit of extra time to read at the beginning of this month. Like, I knocked out a lot of books. And then because I was coming home and doing a lot of different things, like, I feel like I had my headphones on so much this past month. 10 audiobooks, and one of them was 18 hours long. Absolutely wild, and I am completely aware. If you like this style of the yes, no, maybe for my reading wrap up, let me know in the comments down below if there's something I should switch, if there's something I should do different. Let me know, because I like to sit down and chit chat about all these books, but I never want to give spoilers and I don't want to give too much away. Like I said, I like to enjoy a book kind of going into it, hearing only the slightest bit about it. I don't want to hear the full back description because I like to be surprised along the way. So if that's you, if you like this version, let me know. If you need something different, also let me know. I'm open to suggestions because I just like to make these videos, so like, let's tailor it to be something that we like together. All that being said, if nobody has told you today, I am so proud of you. Whether you haven't read any books, 1 book, 10 books, 25 books, I don't care. I am proud of you. Either way, I hope that these videos inspire you to read and for the love of reading and to get off your phone. Get off your phone, stop the doom scrolling, get outside. You would be so shocked at how many books you can read. For the ones that I physically read, truly, I am at night or in the morning not being on my phone and I'm reading my book. It's not during the day, it's not while I'm supposed to be working. I'm not like, she's not even doing anything, she's not even working, all she does is read. No, no, no. You should see my screen time because I'm on my phone all day, every day doing social media. So when it's time to log off of work and clock out, like, I personally do not want to be scrolling anymore, which is where I get to the reading. So I hope this inspires you that maybe like even 1 or 2 days a week, you don't scroll on your phone. I promise the posts will all still be there for you to scroll through and read a good book. I love you guys so much and I will see you in the next one. Bye!